Hello, this is Talking Europe. I'm Catherine Nicholson with you from the European Parliament in Brussels. And this is where the President of the EU Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, has given her first ever State of the European Union address, putting this coronavirus-battered bloc under the microscope with its most recent achievements, failings and aspirations for the future. We're going to be discussing the state of the EU with a panel of esteemed members of this Parliament. I'd like to introduce to you, firstly, on my right, Antonio López Istúriz White, a Spanish MEP and your current Secretary-General of the biggest group in the Parliament, the European People's Party. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Next to you, we have former Europe Minister of France, NATHALIE LOISEAU from President Macron's Renew Europe group. Hi there.
Hi.
And across from you, from the Socialists and Democrats group, Marie-Arena, a Belgian MEP and head of the Human Rights Committee here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Hi there. OK, so let's start off with getting a bit of a snatch of what Ursula von der Leyen had to say in her address.
This is our opportunity to make change happen by design and not by disaster or by diktat from others in the world. To emerge stronger by creating opportunities for the world of tomorrow and not just building contingencies for the world of yesterday. We have everything we need to make this happen. We have shaken off the old excuses and home comforts. We have the vision, we have a plan, we have the investment. It is now time to get to work.
OK, I'll come to you first then, Antonio López Istúriz White. You're a representative of Ursula von der Leyen's own party. So I imagine you're pretty pleased with what you heard there. But some people saying that there weren't really many sort of headlines to take away from this.
And that's a mistake. We are not here for headlines these days. I think that the European citizens, what they are expecting from us is action. And Ursula von der Leyen, whom I know for many years, when she was also Minister of Defense in Germany, she's a woman of action and small words, but much action. And this has been the case in the speech today. All the challenges were cited by her. Nothing was left out of the agenda, and I think that was good. There is room also in her speech for many initiatives concerning immigration, concerning jobs creation, climate change, so many topics that, we have also us parliamentarians to work, my colleagues and I, during these weeks and following months. And that's what's expected from us. Mm-hmm. I saw the classical Ursula, ambitious, but rational and active.
OK. I'll come to you next to Marie-Arena as representative of the second biggest group in the Parliament. Do you agree there there was a lot of ground covered, foreign policy, internal challenges, all sorts of things? And Ursula von der Leyen spoke out about some of the things that have become a little bit taboo for some in the European Union, such as rule of law and migration.
Yeah. She touched all the priorities that we have. For example, health care, the Green Deal, migration, but also rule of law. So I think the priorities are there. For some priorities, we are a little bit asking for more. For example, when it comes from the rule of law, she looks very committed for the rule of law, but there is no mechanism to make this rule of law being respected from these countries not respecting them.
What sort of mechanisms would you be thinking of?
We can talk about conditionality when it comes to the Next Generation Fund. We have this new mechanism to finance these countries for the future. So it would have been interesting to have this conditionality mechanism for this country to say, if you want to have these funds, you have to respect the rule of law. So it is a new mechanism, so it is possible to have a new mechanism for the rule of law. And we didn't hear from that during this speech. It was exactly the same for migration. The priority is there, but it's not the first time that the Commission took this initiative, and finally the member state, they just blocked the migration issue. So we have to be a little bit more stronger than this on these two priorities.
Nathalie Loiseau, your thoughts? Should Ursula von der Leyen have gone a bit further, talking about concrete processes, mechanisms, as Marie-Arena is asserting there?
Well, there was a lot of clarity she addressed all the concerns that we are having on rule of law and human rights. She addressed LGBTI free zones in Poland with strong words, saying they were humanity-free zones, and I fully agree. She was crystal clear on human rights in China. She mentioned the Uyghurs, she mentioned Hong Kong, and really this is something that I respect. But then I agree with Maria, when we have these concerns, when we have these strong statements, they have to become reality. But this is also the role of our parliament to refuse any future European budget if there is no clear conditionality mechanism as regards the rule of law.
I would say that, we all know that still we are not in a real European Union. My dream, and I guess it's Maria's and Nathalie's, is that we will have this real European Union. It's not up to, to Ursula von der Leyen to implement this. It's to member states. I think that Maria has to be very clear in Belgium. I have to be in Spain, Nathalie in France, with our governments, whatever they are in the same party or not, as we are, to claim for these things that were put on today on the table by Ursula von der Leyen. And they have to help. We will have next week or in 2 weeks, we will have a presentation about the rule of law, the study done by the European Commission. And then it's when we can help her also to implement this in our countries.
I think I agree with the fact that each institution of the European Union has to take the responsibility of these institutions, so the Council, the Commission and the Parliament. But sometimes you have to push for it. And when it comes to the Commission, you have this new Next Generation Fund. And we know that a lot of countries are asking for this Next Generation Fund. And so with this new tool, you can implement what you want. And it is the role of the Commission, because this new tool is in the end of the Commission. So it would have been possible to have more than what we have, and more political will, because she said, it's a new opportunity for the future, but we need to have the political will. And I think on the rule of law and on migration, it is necessary to push for this political will. And we have seen in the Moria camp what we have seen 1 week ago, and it is not possible to have this in Europe. I'm responsible for the human rights with other countries. It's difficult to speak about human rights with other countries when ourselves, we can't respect human rights in Europe.
All right, I'd like to move on to another issue that we've spent so long talking about over the past few years. I'm sure you can all guess, Brexit. It did come up in the State of the EU address. I'd like to play you a soundbite from Ursula von der Leyen once again speaking about Brexit.
This agreement has been ratified by this House and by the House of Commons. It cannot be unilaterally changed, disregarded or disapplied. This is a matter of law and trust and good faith.
Ursula von der Leyen, pretty cross there about British government ministers saying that they're prepared to break international law, turn their backs on provisions of the withdrawal agreement, the Brexit deal that Boris Johnson negotiated and signed up to just a couple of months ago. NATHALIE LOISEAU was France's former Europe minister during much of the Brexit process. We've heard from you before about Brexit. Ursula von der Leyen, very stern there. But really, what on the EU side can actually be done if you've got a negotiating partner that says, we're happy to break international law?
First, within the withdrawal agreement itself, there is a mechanism in case there are divergences. And this mechanism goes directly to the European Court of Justice. So this is something we can do. But more than that, if there is to be an agreement on the future relationship, which is not the case for the moment, but if there is to be one, this Parliament committed itself already to refusing to give its consent to such an agreement on the future until we are certain that the withdrawal agreement is implemented fully and in good faith by the UK.
But no deal is a risk at this point.
Yes.
Is the EU really prepared to have a no-deal situation?
Well, we don't
such a
want
big,
it.
close
We
trading
don't want
partner?
it. We are still prepared for a deal, and we are patient and calm. But should there be a no deal, of course we are prepared. Each and every single member state is prepared, There is money dedicated to helping regions struck by a no deal in the future MFF. And let us be honest, at the moment where we will have a huge recovery fund in the European Union, a no deal will not be a good news, but will be much easier to face than it will be for the UK.
Antonio Lopez is still this way.
No deal is bad for everybody. For the United Kingdom, for the European Union, it's clear and transparent. And clear and transparent was the speech of Ursula and these words, truth, law, and good faith. That is exactly what is lacking in Boris Johnson's actions right now. I mean, we are puzzled here in Brussels and in capitals throughout Europe about the attitude of the United Kingdom government. I think it was Margaret Thatcher in the 80s said that the United Kingdom would never go against treaties that the United Kingdom has signed. I mean, what's going on? I mean, he is confusing, he is dividing. And by the way, not the European Union. For the first time in history, Europeans, we are united, but I see the division is happening in another place. I'm not happy about that. I hope that we will have a good relation after that. No one wants this, hard deal.
Just time for one last word.
I totally agree with what has been said. There is a deal, and if you want to go further, you need to have trust. And for the moment, in UK, there is a question of trust, not only trust between UK and Europe, but also I think there is trust in UK themselves, with the population of UK. And this is for democracy, it's a problem.
All right, unfortunately, we have to leave it there. But thank you all so much for discussing all these wide-ranging topics from the State of the Union address. Thanks very much. And thanks to you for watching as well. See you very soon on France 24.
Je regarde France 24 parce qu'en tant qu'étudiante en sciences politiques, ça me permet de rester à jour sur les informations dans le monde, sur les conflits, les débats politiques, tout ça.
الاختلاف بين فرانس 24 والقنوات التانية في المحتوى المتنوع وفي التوجه الأقرب للحيادية.
I like their coverage, especially with the news and the politics. But also I like the cultural aspect because that, me as a Kenyan, I get to learn a lot about Francophone, Africa, Francophone in general, whether it's in Europe or here, just from France 24.
France 24 m'aide à voir une perspective plus complète du monde et à comprendre différentes langues et différentes cultures.
France 24, with you everywhere, all the time. Liberté, égalité, actualité.